welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike. Today, we are continuing our defense of the Defendant.
No, we finished
finished that. We did all the essays.
Yes, but when we were discussing an earlier one, we definitely promised to do a defense of the Maginot Line. So, I wrote in the back of mine, Episode 17, a defense of the Maginot Line.
All right, we said it, so we're going to have to do it. So here we are, defending
The
Maginot Line.
For those of you who don't know,
I want the anti-aircraft gun.
once upon a time, Europe was a not-so-peaceful place. And the Great War had been fought between 1914 and 1919. The French had won, but they'd paid a terrible price. And so they were determined to defend themselves against the Germans. Now,
So they built a huge line of defense between them and Germany.
So, the French, feeling themselves at an inherent disadvantage to Germany, didn't think that they could field an army large enough or quick enough to counter the Germans. So, what they would do is build these super strong defenses that the Germans could never get through.
Well, they were French, and, French time works a lot like some other places' time, where it's, I said 2 o'clock. I meant sometime this afternoon.
We.
Why Germans are very known for their precision.
But in fairness,
I mean,
this line
you don't get a French cuckoo clock.
to the
You get a German.
extent,
Swiss.
Or Swiss.
to the
There's
extent,
German, too.
The German-speaking Swiss.
this line, to the extent that it was built and created and the purpose for which it was done, it succeeded perfectly. The Germans never penetrated the Maginot Line.
Never. Here's the problem. In 1914, the Germans had invaded France by going through neutral Belgium.
You can pick up some waffles on the way.
Hey, I'm not saying I wouldn't invade neutral Belgium,
Everybody likes waffles.
and I do enjoy Belgian ale, so. But the problem is the Maginot Line extended from the Swiss border all along the Franco-German border through Luxembourg until you got to Belgium. So in 1940, when the Germans again went through Belgium, there was no Maginot Line.
No.
So the French built this really advanced and impenetrable defensive structure.
And it was exactly what they created it for. It was advanced and it was impenetrable. Nobody ever broke through the Maginot Line.
So the Germans simply went
Around
around it.
So if this is the defense of the Maginot Line, Mike, how are we going to defend a wall that was essentially built to be incomplete?
Well, we're not. We're going with the title because it's consistent with the things we actually did when we were reading The Defendant.
That's fair.
The Maginot Line is indefensible, especially when we consider its spiritual dimension.
Okay.
Now, in preparation
Did
for
they
this...
have ghost?
They did not.
Okay.
In preparation for this episode, Jess said it wasn't really the French's fault because the Germans were fighting Blitzkrieg, Lightning War. They were harnessing the elements. How could the French possibly fight against that? But this is what I think is the significance of the Maginot Line for us as Catholics in the 21st century. Sometimes we build up our prayer life in one area of our life. We fortify it with prayer, with the sacraments, with reforming our personal habits.
Yeah.
And we build really stout defenses that the devil can't possibly penetrate.
But the devil's crafty.
And we leave a vulnerability that he can simply slip around and come in from the back.
Yeah, you've done a really good job at building up your against your slothfulness or your gluttony, and those things are really good. The devil's never going to get you through those things ever again.
But you've left yourself vulnerable to pride.
Yeah, and that one works really good.
So, I would invite each of us to consider, have we built our own Maginot Line? Have we built a magnificent defensive edifice that will become synonymous with failure and futility? Is there an unexamined portion of your life, some favorite sin that you're holding on to, thinking, as the French did when they built the Maginot Line, that if the devil attacks you that way, surely you'll have time enough to rally your defenses.
That's right.
And cut them off at the pass.
We're going to see them coming.
And the French knew that they weren't building defenses along Belgium. They firmly intended to gather their armies and fight through Belgium. They simply thought there was no way the Germans could go through the Ardennes forest.
Fast.
Which, if you're aware of World War II, the Germans did not just once, but twice. In 1940, when they invaded Belgium and then France, and then again in 1944 in the Battle of the Bulge. The German army can totally go through the Ardennes.
Well, it was a forest, and they're from a country that's known for their forest. They have the Black Forest. It's not like when they went to Russia and went, wait a minute, things get to -Celsius?
What do you mean there's nothing but 1,000 miles of mud ahead of us?
Yes.
That's crazy! No one could live like this! And to which the Russians say, yes, this is why we drink so much vodka.
We don't live in those parts. We live in
That's
these
why there's
parts.
nothing there for hundreds of miles.
So, dear viewer, as we stand on the precipice of another Lent, I ask you, what are the vulnerabilities in your spiritual defenses? Have you built a mighty fortress? Or have you built a Maginot Line?
What things could you maybe consider doing, or perhaps not doing, throughout this Lent to build up those other defenses?
And behind the Maginot Line, secure in their defense, the French became complacent, which partially explains why they were so easily defeated. Have we become complacent? Do we think that we've done enough? And we arrogantly presume that when the devil does attack, we'll be able to adequately respond? Or are we constantly looking to make progress in the spiritual life, constantly shoring up our defenses and leaving no stone unturned? Whatever your favorite sin is, if you don't root it out, it'll be your Ardennes forest, and the devil will come roaring right through it.
With waffles?
No waffles.
Aw.
We're about to enter Lent, no waffles.
Look,
But we can have waffles now.
It is Fat Tuesday, we should have waffles.
he could at least bring waffles with him. I mean, that's just cold-hearted.
He is often seductive, so maybe he'll lure you in with a waffle. Would you sell your soul for a waffle? I don't know. How syrupy is it?
Yeah, it's
I don't know. I've had good waffles, but never that good.
Fair enough. Anyway, so but while it's still not yet Lent, waffles? Waffles? Okay, so comment below on waffles or the Maginot Line or GK Chesterton or whatever. Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, like this video, and while we go eat waffles, remember to
live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love. Let's go eat waffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't defined to go and fight a lightning war. How do you fight the elements?
Dun 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 dun.